Hi, you guys. Welcome back. My name is Carrie Penny. I am the Happy Crafty Homemaker, and welcome to show and tell number 64. 4. Anywho, I hope you guys are having an amazing week so far. I hope you guys have an amazing weekend. And I hope you guys are ready to just listen to some natural blonde talks at you for 20 minutes. I don't, yeah. I did not get a whole lot of knitting and crocheting done this week. I only have one finished object. I do have 2 active whips, 1 sometimes whip. Some weeks you just... Plus, I've been very project monogamous recently, and that kind of also slows me down a little bit. And I've been doing a lot of other crafting, not just yarn crafting. So, I suppose that makes sense. At the end of this, there will be a clip of the cards, the last group of cards I finished up. I do have a couple people still left after I sent out cards this week that I have not gotten a card to. Please be patient. I'm going off of the who sent me a Christmas card list and whose address before Christmas I already had. So I'm trying to gather those people up. So yeah, I'm still running behind and getting spring cards out now that we're out of Easter. It's now just spring cards. So yeah, I have been doing other crafting, and I keep forgetting, I pre-filmed that video the night I finished those, or the day I finished those. I keep forgetting to add those into the time, because I don't normally share those at the same time I'm filming the show and tell. I don't think of those as part of the same crafting, but I have been doing other crafting, just not as much knitting and crocheting recently. So, first off, I finished crocheting the KT and the squid wrap. I left the ball bands upstairs. I had approximately 20 grams left over of all 3 colors. I know this is called Cotton Candy. This one is by Nanette Wakefield Studios, and this one is a Ewer yarn from Knit Crate. I know different kinds of information about each yarn. I think this is like night something. Anyway, I've got a couple more of her yarns that are just... I can see why I bought them. They spark joy. I don't know if I pointed out before that this is a sparkle yarn and this one is also a sparkle yarn. And just how, even though this one's not, it almost makes it look sparkly being sandwiched in between those two. I almost did an extra panel of cotton candy just because I really love this color. I wanted all of it to be in a project and used. I didn't want to have a leftover ball of it because it's just beautiful. But it's super squishy. This one is actually a cashmere wool nylon blend. I think this one is a merino nylon and a merino nylon. But they are absolutely lovely. Once this is soaked and blocked, it's going to be even better than it is now, which is hard to believe because I think this is so perfect. So as soon as I finished this, I actually turned my mind. This is going to be story time followed by what else do I have to share with you guys? And they blend perfectly into each other. So originally, when I came down here to look for sock yarn, I was actually thinking I was going to start the Just Feel Festive shawl for myself because I keep meaning to make it. It keeps getting tabled. I have other things to do. I have stuff I want to make for the channel, stuff I want to share with you guys, and I want to plow through the stuff I want to share. And it's like, yeah, I just want to kick back and enjoy a personal project here. So I went through my sock yarn and I found the perfect color palette. I had the black, the peacock, the bright pink, and the royal purple stroll fingering weight yarns from Knit Picks. And I was thinking I could do black throughout, and kind of in between the colors, do a couple rows that's just black on black, and extend out the color, because I had 3 blacks and 1 pink, 1 purple, 1 blue. I still don't have enough. So I got kind of disappointed. Then I decided to start the Alpaca Direct last month, the final month with them. And I'm super excited about that project. I mean, that alpaca is wow. And the project's beautiful. Everything about this is turning out perfect. So I'm not angry, just excuse me, but I still wanted a crochet project. So I came down here and grabbed some shawl in a ball and started a Just Feel Festive shawl out of that. But that will get me through for now. So Tuesday I got bored, and I was kind of bummed with the sock yarn didn't work out for me. And I decided, carrying double is basically DK weight. So, or with the sock yarn. Excuse me again. So I decided to dye some yarn to make a shawl with. So if you follow me on Instagram, you already saw these 3 hanks where I dyed them together in a roasting pan on my stovetop. This is using tube food coloring from Hobby Lobby. It's a box that's called Neon Colors. It's in the cake decorating section, and it's in there is a tube of purple, pink, green, and orange. And I really wanted something bright and energetic, refreshing, but kind of clean. So I dyed these, and I thought, that's not bad. It's right at 700 yards, I think. And I was like, if I go any more, like, don't want to have a whole lot of leftovers. So it was kind of like, yeah, I'll do 3 and just see, I'll see how the shawl and the ball one goes, whatever. So I dyed this when I was just bored Tuesday night sitting here by myself, because Troy was on a trip again down to Columbia. And I was like, and it's that weird time of night where normally I would just sit down and knit, but everything I'm working on right now is in such sections. The projects are sectioned. So you're basically committing to, you have to finish that one section before you get up. Otherwise, even if you're tallying things, sometimes things just get a little wonky. So it's like, I really don't want to commit to an hour and a half of sitting here. And I was getting kind of restless feeling. I don't know what the deal's been, but I've been getting up between 4:30 and maybe 6 every day, which is, I'm normally a 7:30 person. So I'm getting up really early for me. So by the end of the day, I'm kind of restless because I've had all this time to sit and knit. But I've also done all my chores. I've done all my work around the house. I've vacuumed, dusted, done dishes, cleaned litter boxes, cleaned bathrooms. I've gotten all that stuff done. So there's literally nothing to do, especially since the stores are still closed. So it's 7:30 at night, and it's I've got 2 hours before I can legitimately go lay down to go to bed and not guarantee I'm going to be up at 3 a.m. So what do? You go dye yarn. So anyway, I did that. Then, as that was simmering away, I went and grabbed a hank of sock yarn, caked it up, did the sprinkles technique again, except this time I put the dry cake into the crock pot with all the dye pellets in it, set it down, squished it into the cold acidulated water, and so it would kind of soak enough up to where the cake would sink. Wrapped the mop to get any loose dye that's coming out in there, because after the last one, I realized like that's kind of a good idea. And then turned it on warm so it wouldn't quite hit a simmer, which I was thinking that would slow down the dissolving of the pellets, because regardless of how fast or slow they dissolve, I'm still getting a massive amount of bleeding. So I was thinking I did a higher acid content with lower heat to slow down the dissolve, so that would give it time to expand a little bit out, but the acid would make it set quicker in the cake, hopefully. So I didn't lose so much to the dye bath. And I achieved much larger speckles throughout the yarn that are contained. They're not, they almost look like hand painted on, up close and impersonal. Up close and impersonal. Up close and in person. Words. Worms, Roxanne, worms. Anywho, I did still have bleeding, but this cake bled green, because I did remember to put the green more towards the outside and keep it kind of more planned a little bit. But you go from like more white yarn on the inside to it slowly fading into a green. I think the other one is more me, but I know somebody who will love this yarn. I love how the colors are more, that's the word I was looking for, sharp. The speckles are sharper in this one. So this is now my third attempt at this technique. Each one has turned out distinctly different from each other, but I've liked all three for different reasons. So that was in there. Then we have, nope, this one. Yeah, there's no more. Let me give you a heads up. I ended up doing 10 hanks on Tuesday and Wednesday. So this is the mop for the cake this time. We do have this weird shot of red and yellow, but that just, to me, makes it scream that turning to autumn. Even with the bright green, you're getting the start to the turn of leaves. So I'm very happy with that. So my first mop is kind of like that color with little splotches of kind of rust and yellow dropped throughout it. This one is much more intense. It's more like the one from last week that I'm now calling my cabbage rose mop. So I am very surprised at how great these mops are turning out. They're dynamic looking in this really weird, I mean, this one doesn't look muddy. It's mottled, but not muddy to me. And I think that's really cool. I think it's really, really awesome how it looks so planned, even though there's literally zero planning. It's literally a Hail Mary to not ruin my cake. So those went in Tuesday night. I let these sit on the stovetop overnight to cool off. Left those in the crock pot all night to kind of slowly have the color leach out. When I got up in the morning, I did turn the crock pot up to high, let it come to a simmer, turned it off, let it cool, came back around lunchtime, pulled them out of the crock pot, and used that water for other projects. But I don't know, that was kind of exciting. So when I was going on my walk through the neighborhood Wednesday morning, I was like, I only had this amount of yarn dyed for the Just Feel Festive shawl, but I do still have dye left in the tubes. What if, in order to get a more striped effect, but make it a very clear, coordinated collection, if I go in and dye solids to match the variegated. And that's all this is. So the green ended up much less tonal. It's a very solid color. There's a little bit of tonal variation from white to pink. And then the purple very clearly has kind of blue to purple throughout it with a hint of magenta from breakage. So now what I think I'm going to do is do variegated, solid, variegated, solid, variegated, solid, using all 6 hanks. Well, it'll probably end up being 1.5 of the, or 1 3/4 of the variegated with half of the solids. But I did go ahead and come back and use the water from the crock pot after I pulled all this out, because it still had a lot of acid in it, and the water from the pan, combine those, and quick dyed these. I mean, these took like no time to take the color, and I was like, really, that can't be. That was it. So now I've got 3 solids to go with my variegated. Very happy with how that turned out. And the final thing I did when I was down here getting the yarn for those, I was like, okay, so I'm really loving how these mops are turning out. And I love the planned irregularity of how these are turning out. What would happen if I took 2 hanks of the same Hawthorne DK, opened them up in kind of an oval shape in my large crock pot, and space dyed them using the deluxe dye pellets? This is what you get. Now, I know some of you guys are thinking, oh, that's a muddy mess. I've used very similar yarn before that was purchased. The last ones I did were blues with kind of the purple and red. They turned into like watercolor. They also had splashes of gold. That one was really weird with the splashes of gold, but it was really, really pretty. The colors were beautiful. So I am looking forward to knitting this up to see what happens. These are not identical. Like this one has very clear sections of white kind of blended into certain sections. This one ended up with just like a big patch of white in a section. I can't wait to see what this looks like knitted. I think I don't want to say it's ugly, because I don't actually think this is ugly. I think this is interesting. But that's because I've worked with similar yarn before, or like muddy kind of blendy colors. So like now I'm dying to know what these are going to look like warmed up now. And see, this one even, you can start to see where it kind of looks almost gold, like right where my nose is. Right there. I think they're pretty. And that's just taking all of that food dye and space dyeing it in the crock pot and letting the colors kind of do whatever. Now, I did run the reds, pinks, and yellows straight down the middle of the long side, and then disperse the blues and greens sounded like my front door opening. I don't hear anything else. That's weird. I wonder if it was one of the cats jumping off of something. Neither one of them followed me downstairs this time. they've been chasing squirrels and like hitting the windows, like darting at the squirrels. So I didn't like plan the color layout or anything. I didn't plan what was going to bleed into where. But it wasn't like wholly just handful of color in there. So yeah, that is all 10 hanks of yarn that I dyed this week. And it's funny because I keep thinking I'm going to have things to gift at some point. I have gifted one hank away so far. But like this time I ended up dyeing for a purpose, which is not something I ever thought I'd do. Kind of weird. But now I have a stack of beautiful yarn. And a plan for part of it. Though I might have to use those mottled colors first. But I really wanted to start my hat and scarf set with the stuff I dyed for myself last week. Anyway, you guys, thank you so much for bearing with me and watching my video. I hope you have an amazing weekend. After this will be a clip of the, I think it's only like 4 minutes, of the cards I finished so far. Or finishing off that Fiorelli paper pads. Anyway, there's like a stack of whatever in there. But I think I flew through those fairly quickly. I don't think I have any Pippin clips for this week. So yeah, I think that's it. But you guys enjoy. I will see you again on Saturday with the unboxing for Mountain Meadow Wool. I love you guys, and I hope you're having an amazing time. Bye, guys. Okie dokie artichoke. So, I'm sure at some point in this video, I will have told you if you don't give a flying flip about card making or what cards I made, time to like skip ahead. There may or may not be a cat clip. I don't know. I'm filming this on Monday. What is today? So I did get some cards made. I think there's like 20 some odd cards here, but there are duplicates. So there's 4 of this style, and there's 2 with the marble pink, 2 with the Crissy Crossy pink, thinking of you. And these are all still using the You Are Simply the Best Ever on the inside. A Little Hay to Brighten Your Day, same thing on the inside, but these are using the same card sketch. We got those. Ooh, I got 2 of this style. And so far, I'm up to having completely used 2 6x6 pads. Like I said, I had 3. I now have 1, which I'm pretty excited about. It says Hustle Baby. And I did find a pack of stickers that were black and gold, which works for me. There are 2 of this one, which is the same card sketch, just different paper. I use this sketch a lot for Christmas. I like to use a lot. This is 100% scraps. Two of these. I really like how these turned out. I didn't think I was going to like it with the very super plain, just a hay to brighten your day, but oddly enough, it worked out. We got 2 of this, and this is actually one of the cut aparts. Today I choose Joy. And 2 that look like this. So yeah, got a lot of cards done. Very happy with that. And now I need to sign all of them, stamp them, address them, and get them in the mail. Woohoo! Next week I'll probably have a couple more. There are some scraps sitting there. So I'll probably have a couple more out of my scraps. But yeah. I've now used 2 6x6 pads. Anyway, you guys. Back to your regularly scheduled Carrie.